Let's go.
If you smell what the gauntlet is cooking.
Happy New Year. Well, not just yet. We still got like tonight and then like tomorrow night and everything. But hey, you are live. This is the Gauntlet. It's Friday night. We are back. We took a small little break last Friday for Christmas and everything. Did the family thing, the foods and the drinks and everything. So, you know, we're back. And my apologies to any of you out there that burned the Big Mac and cheese. You are probably on like a 12-month sentence right now. But with that being said, I am your moderator, Denzel Snipes. It's our final Gauntlet of 2022. So let's send this year off with a bang. But first, let's get the guys in here real quick. All the way live from Detroit. Detroit Dom, come on in. What's up, buddy? Can you hear me? Say again?
I can. Can you not hear me? I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sweet.
We're good.
All right, and then let's go ahead and bring in JJ. Come on in here, buddy.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on? What's up? You're on the front porch, so I know what time it is over there.
Happy to realize that tomorrow this is gone. Okay? I'm getting my hair cut after 3 egregious weeks. You know how hard it is to go to work when you're known to be a certain type of stature and you looking like this? Nah.
He said he want to look fresh for 2023.
And with the Sunday night victory against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a hot take right now.
Oh, no, super hot take. We just might get to that in a little bit. And we're bringing in our guest last minute. Much thanks to this man. I literally called him like 2 minutes ago, right? And he agreed to come on the air. He is the architect of the Pundits Pundit, and he just had his first episode of his new show, Pundit Views, which is live on Sideline Sports. Come on in, Jacob Prisoner.
Oh, I just love it. And I can just say this, JJ, I can say this, Denzel, and Detroit Dom, I can say this. There's nothing that says we are going to whip ESPN like a KineMaster logo in the top corner at the beginning of each show.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a first-time subscriber, first and foremost, welcome. Hope you wiped your feet on the mat and took your shoes off before you walked in the house. Definitely hit that like button, but more importantly, hit that subscribe button for Sideline Sports and also for Philly Gym. Shout out to James Tatum out there. But Sideline Sports, we got a plethora of shows. Like I said, we got the Pundits Pundit, we got Basket Bros. You're live tuning into the Gauntlet right now. We got 3 Chicks in the Pod, Chicks and Salsa, the Sports Arena, Sideline Sports Show. You name it, we got it. If we ain't got it, we'll go get it. So definitely hit the subscribe button. All day material for you all week long. Will be good. Confidential, of course, you know, and also Ray J. Lynn's new and Ball Don't Lie. Tune in. That's on Monday nights. So with that being said, as you see at the bottom, we are on Gauntlet Sports Media on Cash App.
And some of y'all make guest appearances on James and Joseph's weekly NFL pick show, Mr. J.
That's what JJ actually means, James and Joseph.
There it is. Yes, there's the picks on Sunday, and there's also LinkedIn podcasts. There's a whole lot going on, y'all. NFL carousel, NBA carousel, you name it. So we're also at Gauntlet Sports Media on Cash App. So we take donations, whether it's $5, $5,000, whatever. You know, we take gift cards. At some point, we're going to start taking Happy Meals. I mean, we'll take anything.
Send it. We need it.
Yes, I'll take a
food stamps,
a root beer float. You know, when's the last time you had a root beer float?
If you're going to jail and you got an EBT card, send it my way.
Actually, to be honest with you, I like root beer floats, but I'm really a Blizzard kind of guy. From Chris from Derek.
JJ, you bougie. We knew that though. We knew that. And then also, I like to apologize for Dom's ghetto ass talking about we take EBT cards.
And JJ, here's the thing: we know you want Nike, but it doesn't matter because Puma still has your ass.
There you go. With that being said, let's get it started, and that is our first topic. Everyone's favorite Sports Moron of the week. This is anybody out there with the most egregious take in sports that you've heard this week. Go ahead and spill your hearts out and let us hear it. Sports Moron of the week. Shout out to Tyler Ingram. He came on a couple weeks ago. You know, it was great having him, and More surprises coming soon from that man. He's doing good. I know he's got something to say.
Are you guys kidding me? Are you guys kidding me?
Yeah. You want to know the Sports Moron Week? I'm going to go tonight. I'm going to go in a day or so. I'm going to go to this. Steve Sarkisian, you're all this. Here's the deal. For one thing, you are not Mike Ditka. You are not somebody that needs to be screaming at your offensive coordinators. You know, considering how much of a problem you've been in most of your teams since you've been back, you don't need to be screaming and hollering and pretend to fight and pretend you're a tough guy. You aren't. See, the biggest thing was, this worked for Ditka because number one, it was the 80s, and number two, he could actually fight in his time. So they knew that part, even if someone wanted to whip him. You're not that guy. You need to learn to chill, get your high blood pressure down, get all that stuff going, just settle down, simmer down, and you might win a few extra games.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to take it to the basketball side. ESPN, you're freaking morons for making us have to sit there and listen to Stephen A. Smith commentate a dime game between the Knicks and the Sixers. When are you going to get it? Like, nobody wants to hear him 24/7, let alone on NBA Christmas. We just want to sit there and watch the game. Just stop it. Like, nobody gives a crap about that. You guys are straight up morons for sitting here and thinking that this world, us as NBA and media and fans alike, would actually think sitting there listening to him commentate on ESPN was a good idea.
It's the Las Vegas Raiders from ownership on down. First of all, it's Mark Davis for going to the barbershop like, hey, give me that Dutch boy cut, to whoever they hired for a GM. And now they've benched Derek Carr for why? He's not having a bad year. He's not having a good year, but not a bad year. Now you've benched him. You've pissed off your franchise receiver. He put a tweet up the other day like, I came here to play with Derek Carr. Now he's benched. Why am I even in Vegas? So it's Raiders being the Raiders, unfortunately.
So this one was going to be my Sports Moron last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. But it's Colts owner Jim Irsay. So in case you missed it, literally my Oilers are off the hook. We no longer have given up the biggest comeback in NFL history. That title now belongs to the Indianapolis Colts. And here's where the bridge connects as to why Irsay is Sports Moron. Because this is exactly what happens whenever you pull a guy fresh off ESPN who's never called a play, never been on a coaching staff, not even for Pee Wee football team, and you put him as your interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts above qualified guys. You give up comebacks like that. There's so much more that I could say, and unfortunately, I have to keep it PG-13. Maybe one day, shout out to Eric Wilson, he'll have a smoking session and we can bring this up, and then this raw thoughts all up and down that court. But until that day, I'm going to keep it PG-13, and Irsay, yeah, you own every bit of that bone lead. And now let's get the guys back in here. We got Detroit Dom. We got JJ Revens aficionado, and we have the pundit, Jacob Christmas.
Hey, if I help Eric get on HBO, trust me, you'll be allowed to say whatever you want.
Hey, that's a pretty fair exchange. I wouldn't go minding that.
Oh, go to.
I've been praying for 10 years for HBO to get one broadcast per year.
No, go to FX because you actually could do stuff on FX.
Okay.
That is true. I mean, FX does have Mayans MC and Sons, so like
American Horror Story. American
Horror Story.
FX money. They've had the Super Bowl before.
Remember Nip Tuck?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nip Tuck was raw.
Hey, FX if you want SEX.
So FX, let FX get one NFL game per year with R-rated commentary.
Well, if you want SCX, then you'd have to go back in the day to Skinamax at 2 a.m. So whenever you had a hand on the back button.
Get your mind out the gutter. This is a family show, sir. Get your mind out the gutter.
Families act like that.
True story. I found out about this only because I like the name. I remember seeing a movie called Kama Sutra, and I liked the name. Then I watched it, and I was like, oh my God. Like, oh, hell no. Like, I was only like 11.
Hey, you got a shout out there, JJ.
What up? What up?
And apparently he says you should play quarterback.
Never mind.
You might be slightly better than Huntley.
Shout out to Baby
at all.
Grizzler. What's up, buddy? Yeah, Sons and Mayans. Yeah, Sons, Mayans, The Shield. Those are like 3 of my favorite shows, man.
Was it Narcos on FX too?
I think Narcos was. I think it was on FX. I have to look it up. I believe Narcos was too. They're really good for like those rated R like type dramas. You know,
I'm watching The Bear right now.
The Bear
Yeah,
from the Bears
really,
fan.
really good.
From the Bears fan.
Yeah,
But
it's different from that.
our next topic, we're gonna dive right into our player of the week, and that is cornerback Richard Sherman. So Richard Sherman, one thing about him, he actually is one of the most intelligent football players of this modern era. There's probably an argument for like ever. But he's from Compton, California. He's currently a free agent. So this got to be the first time on the show we've done someone who isn't totally retired. I feel he's worthy of it, though. He was a round 5 pick in 2011, played most of his career with the Seahawks. He was with the 49ers for a bit, with Tampa last year. He did win a Super Bowl. He was a first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. He was a picks leader in 2013. He's on the NFL 2010s All-Decade team and PFWA All-Rookie team. Career stats as of 2021, last time he played. 495 tackles, 2 sacks, 116 pass deflections, 37 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, 7 fumble recoveries, and 3 defensive touchdowns. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this man has 16 picks in his first 2 years in the league. I know he had 8 steals his rookie year.
Yeah, like 11 or like 16.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But you talk about a dude. And I've always alluded to Dan Quinn being the architect of the Legion of Boom. It could be argued that either Richard Sherman or Cam Chancellor, was the captain. 12, very instrumental.
12 in his first 2 years.
12, that's right. 12 in the first 2 years. I'm sorry.
12 in his first 2 years, 20 in his first 3. 488.
488. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, this guy right here, very instrumental. A lot of people will tell you, that wasn't Russell Wilson that won that Super Bowl or that season. That was Legion of Boom.
It sure doesn't look like it now, does it?
But I said it then. And when they won, Hawks fans were like, "Oh, Russell's elite." And I was like, "Oh."
Let's be clear. They only did that to Denver because the lights went out on what we were supposed to do to San Francisco. Straight up.
That is true. That is true. But just want to pass on to Dom. Your thoughts on cornerback Richard Sherman?
Like you said, cerebral, very smart guy. Went to Stanford. I'm pretty sure Stanford does not give out athletic scholarships. Like, you actually have to have the brains and the smarts to get in. Richard Sherman, as far as I remember, he was in a variety of ways, he was the prototype for the new NFL corner. Big, wasn't fast, wasn't a great athlete. He was just a cover guy, and he stayed in the film room, and he just knew how to lock you down without any sort of, elite cover corner and great ball skills, tall, but not fast, not a great leaper.
Well, at 6'3", 205, he was considered a big corner.
Oh, yeah. You got to be a big corner nowadays.
He can pass for a small free safety, but go ahead.
That was about it. Legion of Boom. That's what I was saying, because a few years back, the Lions had the makings of a Legion of Boom, because their front seven was good, but it wasn't anything spectacular, special, out of this world. They just had Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas, and who's the other one I'm forgetting?
Brandon Browner.
Yeah, when you have an elite back four, that's how you get coverage sacks.
Of course. Yeah. That's why B. Wags could do his thing. That's how Bruce Irvin could do his thing. Cliff Averill and all that. Yeah. So.
And it's actually, in that regard, it's tougher, but in the end, it's easier, because if you can get 2 elite corners and 2 elite safeties, that covers up for your front seven, because if guys can't get open, there's your coverage sack.
There's your coverage sack, exactly. And they're stopping the run all day long. So, it was just the perfect defense. But pass to the JJ. JJ, man, your thoughts on Richard Sherman?
All right, so I'm gonna take this back to a show. I'm gonna take this back to a quote because this is exactly who Richard Sherman is to the sports media world. I'm gonna go back to a different world, and it was an episode about racial tension. It was Mario Lopez and Kadeem Harrison, and they were in jail. And Mario was picking up, and Kadeem Harrison said, "I'm an educated black man. I'm your worst nightmare." And that is what Richard Sherman is to the sports world. He's one of the most well-spoken men out here. And when he speaks, he actually can back up what he says. Think about how he talked about the Colin Kaepernick situation. I watched him just eviscerate the world and the reporters for trying to come at him, and everything he said was right. And that's how he played as well. He was that fiery guy. He demanded excellence. He is not the type of person that was going to sit there and accept you not giving your best. And he, to this day, I love you, Richard, but you got to let Russell go because you have not forgiven him for that. And I understand because that was the makings of what looked like to be a potential dynasty until that fatal play. That had been 2 straight Super Bowls. They had the best defense, bar none, and it was been something. So, but Richard was a huge part of that. Yes, every time you get ranked in these conversations to me about greatest of all time or who would you choose or whatever, you're obviously have did your job rather well. Like you don't get put up like that, if you haven't done something great. You got to think about corners that have played that still don't even get that credentials. Asante Samuel don't get that credentials. He does. And so he was a great corner for many years. He still can play, honestly, if he played as a safety. I do believe he is the guy that helped that defense, along with Cam mainly, stay together because, they were the ones that had that, that mental toughness. All right, next play. This, and this. I love Richard Sherman. I would love to meet him because I think you can learn so much about things from him. He's a good guy.
Definitely someone that you could have a conversation with and pick your brain. You can legit probably have a conversation with that man and not bring up football and feel like you can learn so much from him. But all right, last but not least, Jacob Christner, your thoughts on Richard Sherman?
Dom brought up comfort sex, and you have to be careful with Russ. He might. Depends if he was married yet. He could have been that virgin. You know what I mean? But still,
he's not Tim Tebow. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But no, here was the thing about there was people that brought up. I mean, you know how good Richard Sherman was.
Of course.
A very good player. And also, look at this thing too, incredibly intelligent player. People talk about, oh my God, imagine him in the 80s and 90s. Here's the issue. Would he be awesome in those times? Just like a Ronnie Lott? I think absolutely. But here's the deal. They would make him look absolutely the image of the NFL and everything and make him look like Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wayne. They'd absolutely do it. They would put the nerdy glasses on him. He'd have a shorter haircut. And then he'd have to have that image, the quote unquote safe image. Mm-hmm. You got to remember Dwayne Wayne on the different world, still talking about all the stuff Sherman does, but he had that safe look. You get my point?
Right. And sweater vest, glasses, button ups.
Yep. And the teacher and everything. Richard Sherman, in his mind, and if we would have him on the show right now, he would absolutely say he's lucky to be in this world right now because he can look like and be himself in this world and still be the intelligent and still be able to show himself off and be able to show his football and be able to show himself and show how good he is.
They look at his dreads and they already make a judgment. They
understood, but guess what? He's allowed that now. In the 90s, he wouldn't.
That's true.
And it's like, and those are the things. And as far as the biggest thing about this is here's the deal. I think I'm going to think of. I am never going to say Russ. I'm never going to say Russ was Russ is totally at blame for that because someone called that play.
Yeah, Darryl Bevell, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. No question. But guess what? The whole thing by itself. He's never going to be what he was. Russ wasn't, but he will. But he will. If you give him a real coach, he'll be effective again. Just never be what he was.
Right. I agreed on that one. But also at the same time, I feel like if he were to get signed, he's definitely going to be the mentor. He's definitely going to be the guy that's overseeing the younger defensive backs. If he were to go back to Tampa, if Dallas signed him or whoever, he definitely. But you have to put him in that young environment.
Yeah.
Can't put him around a bunch of people that's around his age. He has to be the oldest person in that secondary.
Yeah.
Imagine if he went back to San Fran.
Oh, whew. I mean, and he got to a Super Bowl with them too, and almost won it. I mean, I wouldn't be terribly mad at that, you know. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the crazy part about what you said, Jacob, imagine him in like the 80s or the 90s. I mean, if he was a top 5 corner in this era, he'd have been a top 5 corner then.
Well, no, you're correct on that. The point I was making is he'd be awesome. I mean, especially it was such a different time and everything, and you could do more even, so he might be even better. But the point I'm making about it is the world would make their image of him, and he would go. It's that's the thing. You went along, or you're out of the league.
He would be the model. Like
yeah,
he would be.
It's like look, they'd be telling it 160 IQ. He plays wonderful chess and all that kind of stuff. He reads 100 billion books. They'd give all that image, and they'd make him safe as hell.
Yeah, they would.
It would be Dwayne Wayne. Guess what about Dwayne Wayne? He talked about racial issues on the world.
Yeah,
but he did. But it is much easier for people to watch it with someone that looks nerdy.
Yeah,
I think in the 80s.
I mean, it's sad to say that, but you're right, man. You know, because go ahead, Dom.
I think in the 80s or the 90s, Richard Sherman would have been a possession receiver because you didn't need corners that big until you did. Because Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson, that's why corners had to get bigger, because you could be the best corner on earth, but, you know, starting in the early 2000s, I don't care if if you're only 5'10", 5'11", and you could jump out of the gym, you're still getting beat. You're still getting mossed. You're still getting Megatroned.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question. I ask you, and then whenever JJ comes back on. So you talk about, like, I guess theoretically small corners now, right? Or would be regular size back then. Do you think Rondé Barber would be the same type of cornerback now?
Nope.
At all?
Maybe 3/4 of what he was.
Okay.
Just too small.
Jacob?
Now, tell me one elite corner in the NFL right now that's under 6 feet tall.
Rondé.
It's a trick question because there's none.
There's none. And the crazy part is Rondé Barber, he was 5'10", 180.
But look at the offenses now. We're talking guys that would have to do out patterns and all that kind of stuff like that. There's more. There are like 7. If you get a Rams, for instance, from like last year, if you get some of these elite offenses, if you get Miami of now, there's 4 different wide receivers. There's the 2 slots. There's 2 all that. I mean, there's all kinds of different positions they've got to play now. So it's a different world.
Yeah. It's crazy because you remember the Houston Oilers run and shoot, right?
Yes.
That offense was ahead of its time because look at all these offenses now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Drew Hill.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Haywood Jeffries, Ernest Givens, You know, and you know, it's funny because you look at these offenses now that's based on speed, right? If you give Rondé Barber the speed he had in his prime, I still think he's still that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
JJ, you back?
Yeah.
Did you hear my question?
Will Rondé Barber last in today's NFL?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think he will. Ronnie's one of the smartest, and he is one of the guys that was always know how to be in the right spot. You know, he's not the flashy one. He's not the one that gets this. But he was the one that he knew where to be, where he needed to be. He wasn't someone that he's part of the 40-20 club, between interceptions and sacks.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, Rondé would have fit well with these league. I get where Dom's coming from because he's not fast and this league is full of speed. But
it's not even about fast anymore. You just got to be
size.
Tall.
But for what about how they Buffalo plays their defense as a cover shell, like everybody back there, nobody's getting beat too much. There's opportunities for a guy like Rondé.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll buy that in the right system.
Yes, right. In the right system. Because I mean, once again, if he retains his speed in his prime, I still say he makes it. Now, granted, okay, he's gonna have to play off of his guy. You put him up against, like, say, a Des Bryant or a Megatron or something like that, you know. But he's as fast as those guys. He was as fast.
No, you just didn't compare Des Bryant and Megatron.
No, I'm talking about in size because they both were big receivers.
They were.
They both were big receivers. Dez ain't touching Megatron. We know that. That's another story. But as far as size, as far as sheer size, yes, they're big receivers, just like you said, a Randy Moss. You know what I mean? But Rondé was as fast as those guys. The only time he get bodies is a jump ball because Rondé's 5'10", and then what was Megatron 6'5"?
6'5".
6'5", and what was Dez 6'4", 6'3"?
At least 6'3", and cock diesel.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's the only time they'll really body him up. But if it's a straight fly route, he might hang with him. But
you brought up Dez. You brought up Dez in comparison to Megatron. He's more like Fez from that '70s show in comparison.
Fez Bryant.
Jacob, you are so mean.
Yes.
Well, now is the time to go to our Gauntlet Grinders for Week 16. We can kind of cheat the system a bit because we did take a week off. So if you have one for Week 15, that's fine too. But yeah, we'll go ahead and go around the horn. Dom, start it off.
Much as it pains me, I have two for the NFC. Unfortunately, it's the combination of Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard that ran for, a mere 290 yards on the Lions. They just absolutely killed us, ran it down our throats, through our stomachs, out our butts, and it was bad. AFC, I got Devin Singletary, 106 yards and a touchdown on 12 carries. I've been saying, because to me, Devin Singletary is like a poor man's Miles Sanders. Like, just give him the carries and he'll get the yards. And he did, and Buffalo won big in Chicago. So, yeah, that's, yep.
All right. So I'm going to go with my Gauntlet Grinder as Chuba Hubbard as well, because the Panthers somehow are magically still in the race to get out and try to claim that NFC South. That running attack has been the change. Dante Foreman, we know what Dante Foreman is doing, but Chuba Hubbard is doing what they drafted him to do. That was a great game. And did y'all lose me just now? I can't recall. I can't remember. But anyway, I'll be honest with you. That's who I really have right now. Because I can't really think of who. Next person.
Now you go from AOL to a real Wi-Fi. Here's what I'm going to bring up. The first one, I'm going to cheat a little bit on this because I don't know if I'm going to be on the Gauntlet next week. So I'm going to go my AFC. I'm going to make it for this week. Josh Dobbs. He has gone around, been flipped around, all of those. And he got his touchdown yesterday. And yeah, he's going to be a third string. He's going to be going around the league. But he got that Thursday night football hit. And then also, I might as well just say David Blau. And it's not because these are, Dobbs going to be better than Blau, but it's just because they get themselves a chance. You get that one moment in time. Just like I brought up Skylar Thompson a few weeks ago. It's like you get that one moment in time to be able to start a game. You don't know. You might be third string. You might be basically on the practice squad next year. So you got to give everybody like that. But I'm going to say Josh Dobbs, because they are grinders. They grind it out each and every time for that one moment. And as far as the NFC, David Montgomery, because he has to deal with a miserable team. He has to deal with the team who is messing Justin Fields around. A team with a fan base that is messing Justin Fields around. He's dealing with They deal with everything. We don't know what's going to go on with the presidency, who they're going to take. And yet every single week, he grinds every single yard. And you cannot, and he could quit by now. He could have just said goodbye by now. But every single week, he's acting like it's the Super Bowl. And that is my grinder for week 16. And then I did the one for the 17 too.
My Gauntlet Grinders, first off, for the NFC. Shout out to the Minnesota Vikings, man. They're at 12-3, something like that. They got 12 wins. 11 of them have come by one score, which is an NFL record. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. There was the 33-point comeback. That's history. I'm not here to talk about that. What I want to bring up is the fact that this team has somehow had 30 years of elite receiver play. 3 of the best that or who will be the best when it's all said and done. They've had Chris Carter, then they had Randy Moss, now they got Justin Jefferson. He's my NFC Gauntlet Grinder. In the win versus the Giants, 27-24 in overtime, 12 receptions for 133, 11.1 yards per catch, and a touchdown. He's likely going to get the receiving crown this year. And outside of Tyreek Hill, who else? Or unless it's Jamar Chase. I want to bring them up too because everyone talks about, the Allens, the Hurts, the Mahomes, the Burrows and everything, and how the future is in safe hands for quarterbacks. I think the future is in safe hand at receiver too. So that's my Gauntlet Grinder for the NFC. For the AFC, he wasn't Kenny Biscuit this week. He was Kenny Pickett. In a win versus the Raiders, 26 of 39, 244 yards, averaged 6.3 yards per attempt, and not too shabby. He had a touchdown. He did throw a pick. He wasn't not sacked once. He had a QBR of 59.6, passer rating of 81.6, and had his first career game-winning drive. And kept the Steelers alive in the playoff race. I don't foresee them making the playoffs. In fact, I probably got the Ravens winning Sunday night. However, that still would put them below. That still would give Tomlin his first losing season in Pittsburgh. But with Kenny Pickett, and myself and Jacob Christian have talked about this, about giving the young man time. I think you got to give him some time and let him figure out that system. When you're brand new, when you're green out there, a whole lot of it is just raw talent, and that's not saying this brother isn't talented. This brother is talented. I like Kenny Pickett as long as he doesn't turn into Kenny Biscuit, but he was my Gauntlet Grinder for the AFC. Let's get the guys back in here. Detroit Dom, JJ, and Jacob Christner.
I'd rather turn him into Kenny Biscuit. It means he's putting a biscuit in people's hands. Pickett means he's getting picked.
Question. Hold on. My Wi-Fi was acting up again.
Of course it was. That's why I made fun of it.
You're good now. You're good. But we're actually going to take a small commercial break in here for our sponsor, and then we'll be right back with the next topic. Here's Fanatics.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Fanatics, shout out to them. They're our sponsor. And, Tennessee just scored 6-0. Fanatics, we are sponsored by them, so most definitely punch that code in whenever you go and shop and everything. And when you go, tell them the Gauntlet sent you. It's all love and everything that way. Also, once again, Gauntlet Sports Media on Cash App. We take donations. Dom will take food stamps. JJ will take ice cream sundaes. And Jacob Christner will take cigars, even though he doesn't smoke. So
I'll just give them to you, Denzel.
Hey, sounds good to me. So those are sponsors and our donations. And thank you once again for tuning in to the Gauntlet. And now for our next topic. Should come as no shock. However, defensive end J.J. Watt announces on social media that he's retiring after this season. And so there's been talk all week about where he ranks among the greats. Me personally, I feel like he was the greatest pass rusher of the previous generation, the best one this generation being Aaron Donald. This man right here, he's got multiple 20-sack seasons. The only man such to do so. He's got 2. He's got 4 seasons of 15-plus sacks. He's one of 4 people since 1982 to have 100 career sacks and 5 touchdowns. So with that being said, going around the horn, and your explanation as to why, or why not, starting with Dom, do you believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh, 100%. Like you said, the best pass rusher of his generation. The tail end of it ran into Aaron Donald. Right. Which is the only one that gave him any sort of competition. But yeah, just an absolute disruptor, chaotic. He also has 3 targets for 4 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was a tight end in college. Yeah, just absolute disruptor. One of the best that I've seen, and I watched his whole career. Best pass rusher I've seen since Reggie White. That's it. That's all I got. Like, I could go on and on and on about J.J. Watt, and you watched his whole career, so you could go on lengthier, but yeah, just amazing.
Yes, I mean, absolute freak of nature. The guy goes about 6'5". He was between 295, 300, just a solid machine. You know, his workout regimen. The guy trained. He didn't train like he was playing football. He trained like the strongman competition.
How far is he off the all-time sacks lead?
Oh man, good question.
He's a little ways behind.
Because he did have some injuries here and there throughout his career, but if he stays, 95% healthy instead of the 75% that he was, he's probably the all-time sack leader. I look at J.J. Watt as he's the Mario Lemieux of hockey. Wayne Gretzky has better stats, but Mario Lemieux had better stats per game.
Yeah. And not to mention, he finished second in NFL Most Valuable Player voting in 2014. Aaron Rodgers won that title. Immediately afterwards on ESPN, they did a nationwide poll. 82% of the nation said J.J. Watt was robbed. J.J. Watt could have been the first
defensive players never win the MVP, just like one defensive player ever won the Heisman. It was Charles Woodson. JJ?
Yep, JJ, on you, man. Is he a first ballot?
Yeah, for sure. He's a first ballot. I remember his time. I remember his senior year at Wisconsin, where we were talking about he's a walk-on, but he has so much potential and stuff. And then, turned out to be a phenomenal pass rusher and edge rusher. Right around that time, my two favorite edge rushers outside of the ones non-melanated edge rushers were Jared Allen and J.J. Watt. Those were my two favorite. And those dudes they were chips on their shoulders, and they just was phenomenal. And I, too, was one of those people that felt like JJ got robbed in 2014 because when I tell you he literally did everything, he literally did every single thing. And I remember I used to hate playing the Texans when it came to JJ Watt because I knew he was going to sack Joe Flacco at least 2 or 3 times every time. Now, Joe Flacco ain't the best, but it's something about it. I remember losing to them 42-17, and JJ was dogging us in terms of on the defensive side. Mm-hmm. And that was Terrell Suggs came back. We still finished the year like I think 10-12-4, whatever. But that was a game that we had to have, and JJ was just a home wrecker, like in terms of like getting to the quarterback. And the man is just phenomenal. He's always been a good guy. He's your true blue collar kind of guy. I forgot
about. On the rare occasions he couldn't get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Batted ball.
His hands went up.
I just picture him being a guy that's working on doing lumberjacking out in Montana. Like he's got that build to him, honestly.
Yeah. Well, his training regimen was just crazy. And I actually had listened to some commentary that said that actually may have contributed to his injuries, was just the way he trained. He just trained so hard, and it's kind of one of those lessons where you got to watch yourself. There is such thing as overtraining, and you could get hurt that way. But on to you, Jacob. And mind you, this is also a man that has a Walter Payton Man of the Year under his belt. So, where does he rank to you? Do you feel he's a first ballot? Where does he rank to you?
Oh, my God. That's like asking if Tim Tebow will go to church and if Hulk Hogan goes to tanning bed. Give me a break. I mean, come on. And we already know this answer. Of course he is. But the thing is, I've just noticed this week that a lot of Steelers fans are incredibly sad because they thought they could have a chance at getting him with his brother, and getting all that kind of stuff. They're sad. But here's the deal. Remember on our first show with the interviews and everything we brought up about, or with Pundit, we brought up about Ric Flair. And the thing is, you don't ever want to watch Ric Flair with a crap match. That's the same thing. See, J.J. Watt gets it, though. No one wants to see J.J. Watt suffering, getting thrown down. going to the extra, which is what happened to Lila Zato when he went for the preseason trying to get in for 1990. Got thrown down. Even though he looked good, he was still he was like 40 and still weaker. And it's like no, and then it's like it's embarrassing. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see a time where J.J. Watt would be suffering and get beat off the ball and do everything. You want to remember dominance. You want him to go in dominance. That's what you want to get. So I'm happy for him. He's got himself a brand new baby. He already looks like he could kick people's butts.
Yeah.
The kid looks like he's already annoyed with you. And then he's got that wife who's gorgeous. He's got everything going for him. Why should he keep playing? And you know something? Good luck to him. He can see in 5 years.
And he ended one number one of the 5, I think, top retirement areas of the United States in Scottsdale too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge retirement.
Never knew and I never looked. Who can tell me what the JJ stands for?
Justin James.
You know, I didn't. I never looked.
You know. Hey,
he was a Texas fan.
Just think if he plays shuffleboard and he puts the shuffleboard right through the wall.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's a little young.
Well, you know, and great points, Jacob, because you know, one thing that I don't, even though Gronk is a fun guy to watch, I don't want JJ to go that route. If you're gonna walk and stay away. You know what I mean? You don't want to be now. That's not sitting there saying that Gronk sucked when he came back, but he wasn't Gronk from 10 years ago.
Well, no, and the thing is, it's hard to watch Brady at moments. Does he still have that little comeback thing like Ben did in his final year? Yes, he does. But yes, he does. Those are the moments, but there's going to be, if you don't leave, there's going to be those moments where you don't have that anymore.
Screw Gronkowski because he fake retired so the Lions wouldn't trade for him.
Dude, we already knew that was going to happen anyway. But still, it's the Lions. But the thing is that we don't.
We're still relevant. Are your Bears?
No, absolutely not. But the thing is that I already know that. But no, but you're
going to beat us this week.
Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, but the biggest thing is when you see dominance and you see greatness in front of you, you want them to go early. It's what makes it is the number one thing that made growing up watching the Celtics and seeing them say goodbye to Bird. He never came back. He left when he had just a little left for like a 49-14-12 with his back gone. Just a little left. And it's like you want him to go when they have a little left and you remember the dominance.
Right.
Yes,
I would have said that for JJ 2 years ago. But this year, 14 games, he's got 9.5 sacks.
Yeah. You know, not a bad season at all. Slow compared to, the JJ of 10 years ago. But that's a good point, Jacob, because Lawrence Taylor retired at like 32, 33. How old is JJ now? Like 32, 33.
Well, here's the thing. He tore himself up, too. The thing about JJ is the fact that he had 2 back surgeries. And the thing is, who knows if his neck and his fingers are tingling right now. And he could be able to – that's the point where you get a fusion. You lose about 40 pounds. You still look good, and then you move on.
Right. Yeah.
LT retired at 34.
Oh,
but
34.
LT tore himself up. JJ can leave while he's halfway healthy. Like I said, he can fuse himself and never do this again.
Yeah. And you know, it's great because, you know, we're seeing the new era of pass rushers, the Micah Parsons, the Kayvon Thibodeaux, and, you know, and JJ, I'm sure you'll appreciate this one. Because my favorite defender of all time is Lawrence Taylor. And he retired in 1993. Only had to wait 3 years. We thought we would never see something like LT ever again. And 3 years later, Ray Lewis came along. Yeah. You know? And
he retired at the right time, too.
How old was Ray Lewis when he retired?
Oh, I don't know. I want to say
Ray Lewis retired right.
Yeah, his was a little later because Ray Lewis did like 16 years.
Interesting thing about Ray Lewis. He was going to retire after 2011, but after what happened in the AFC Championship game, he said it. He's like, look, I was going to call it quits that year because I felt like that was the best team we had. He's like, but when we lost them, I said, look, y'all, I got enough in me for one more time because we're going to beat this team next time we see them. We're going to finish the job.
Well, Ray Lewis
wasn't it you wasn't it you, JJ, that said, yes, the 12 team that won it all was good, but the 11 team across the board was better.
For sure, top to bottom, the 11 team was the best team the Ravens have had to date. They were unbelievable on defense. Pollard had a great year. Ed Reed leading the league interceptions. What's new? Water is still wet. The offense, Flacco wasn't making too many mistakes. Anquan Bolden may not have ever had 1,000 yards with us, but literally was obviously a number one. If you ever watched any of the Ravens games, Ray Rice coming off, doing his thing. And then Willis McGahee still with the team a little bit. Bernard Pierce, that was the best Ravens team. That team literally is that game against New England when we lost is
on that kick,
is ultimately with the game that made Tom Brady, all of them say, all right, when we see this team, we know we got to play them.
We got to play them.
They are going to get. They came into our house 2 times. First year was a fluke. They came into our house and outplayed Joe Flacco outplayed Tom Brady that game, but was not rewarded with the victory.
Well,
JJ was 26th all time with 115 and a half.
Yeah, he has a ways to go.
The thing about it though is Ray Lewis left correctly, but I mean, I got to see in my adult time. I'll just say with my kid time, Singletary left right. He left dominant. Brian Urlacher did not. Neither did Lance Briggs.
Julius Peppers didn't.
Both of them, huh?
I said Julius Peppers didn't.
No, I know. But it's like, I'm just saying you're correct. But what I was saying, though, is Urlacher left when he was getting run over. So was Briggs. And they were missing tackles. Yeah. Those guys, this is why I bring this up. I brought a title up the one day on Pundit, JJ. I said, Tom Brady, Ric Flair, and a terrible immaturity problem. And it's like you're not wanting to leave before with your time. And it's like, I don't want to watch. Like when I say this, I love seeing JJ go while he can do it. I love seeing Ray Lewis go while he can do it. I don't want to see it like Tom Brady. I don't want to see Tom Brady another year while he's still making comebacks, but he can't do it anymore. And he might get to a point where he can't do it at all. Yeah. And that's what happens. And I don't want to see Ric Flair with terrible matches like he had in that last time. You want to remember the greatness.
And a big classic case. For a person, I remember thinking Peyton Manning was like a god in NFL. Look how he retired. It was disappointing because it wasn't what the person you were used to seeing for so many years.
True.
Yeah. Well,
but after Peyton got smoked, after he got smoked by the Seahawks, I think if he beat the Seahawks, he would have retired then. If he would have beat the Hawks, he would have retired then.
Yeah. Peyton Manning is Aaron Rodgers with one more Super Bowl, which I don't give him credit for.
You know something, though? Here's the thing about Peyton. He put cities on his shoulders for so long. I don't mind when somebody carries him. I don't mind when after all those years of
Troy Aikman, people, John Elway.
Yeah.
Joe Namath.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw.
Actually, first and foremost, we are not going to put those because those dudes did not replicate even close to the same type of effect as this man Peyton Manning did. What he did in the 2000s, he was the offense.
I'm just saying getting carried to one ring. Peyton won that first one. That second one.
But hold on. No. He only had a bad stretch the last 9 games for the most part. He was not he was average. But at the end of the day, they've had their record the entire time he was there was the reason why they brought him. He was phenomenal. He deserved to get carried, like you said. He deserved it because he
got carried to a second ring in Denver. John Elway.
And I'm more than happy with anybody getting carried if they've done that.
Yes,
kind of
the whole career deserved it. Yeah.
Grind, when they've given that kind of grind, good for them. It's like you can say goodbye with your ring, and people can remember.
And they bring mentorship and leadership, the stuff that we don't see. On TV. So they contribute to the team. Absolutely. I had no problem with Manning getting carried in that Super Bowl. But I still will say, if he beat the Hawks, he would retire 2 years earlier.
I'll be very honest with you, and I hate to say this. I'll be honest with you. Cam, the minute you decide not to go for that fumble, you lost the Super Bowl because that was a good chance for you to still have a chance to get this win.
That was. But we do have 2 more topics. Just real quick. Let's see here. So, Thursday night football, Cowboys beat the Titans 27-13. This helps the Cowboys out because they're still in the race for the division and for the number 1 seed. The Titans didn't matter what was going to happen in this game. Next week at Jacksonville is for the AFC South. But something that I did want to talk about, I don't know if y'all saw the game or not, but you have been watching his play. The So Dak Prescott had 3 turnovers in 1 quarter. So my question is, has he now the defense has been playing phenomenal, but has Dak Prescott become a liability to this team? Dom, what do you think?
Much as I want to say yes, not quite a liability. I mean, if you say like overall scope of for how average he is and how much he's getting paid, yes. But Dak Prescott is, and I don't care what anyone says, it's only been like people will try to elevate him into that, bottom of the top 10 elite category just based on his stats and regular season wins. But Dak is a very expensive game manager. Like as much as Jared Goff costs, and he costs a lot, I would rather have his contract and his play rather than Dak. Because like he's not going to win you any games. Might not lose you very many either, but that I mean
Goff did beat
it's
Goff
Dak.
will
Dak
get
beat Prescott
400
in
this
playoffs.
weekend, dude.
Well, no.
Yes, he will.
The other 52 men on the Rams.
10 yards a
Did
spot.
hold on?
The other 52
Jay,
men on
Jay.
the Rams roster beat the 53 men on Dallas's roster.
Hold on, I'm about to say, Jay. Did
Jared Goff has only
did
won
Goff beat him,
like
or
4
did that-
games in his career.
Did Goff beat him, or did that running game?
That's
beat
what I'm
that team?
saying.
The run,
The rest of the
was more so
roster.
the running game.
The whole rest of the roster. If Todd Gurley is healthy in that Super Bowl, and it's against anyone but Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, dual
The
blood.
Rams win. The
Rams win that game.
Yeah, I've said this for years.
Is Dak a liability? Not
yet.
quite. He's not an asset either.
JJ, what do you think?
He's a liability based on his contract, yes.
I totally disagree with Dom about this or Jared Goff, because I would never take Jared Goff of Dakota Prescott, because I think Dakota Prescott is the black version of Tony Romo. And eventually Tony Romo started to kind of get a little bit figuring it out. Because at the end of the day, the dude does know how to play this game.
Dak knows how to be clutch. Tony did not.
But Tony started to figure out.
Whoa, Tony was on the list for most game-winning drives and fourth-quarter comebacks.
There is no way you're going to convince me.
When has Dak been clutch ever?
There is no way you're going to convince me that you and this Detroit Lions love is hilarious.
Fight both of y'all on the bottom.
It's hilarious because at the end of the day, no. I would never take Jared Goff. If you give me Dakota Prescott on that Rams team, I see the same success, and I can see them have a chance to win because he may make the play that may make you go, what the WTF? But that dude is going to make the play to get you back in the game. And the thing about the matter is he a liability? No, he's not a liability. He just needs to run the offense the way that they have it. Work everything. You can hit CeeDee Lamb. You can hit Gallup. You can hit all of them. But you got 2 running backs. Kill everybody. Make them be like a pick your poison. Make them decide what you want to do. But they get carried away. He ain't no different from what the Ravens are doing with Lamar Jackson. And I'm only saying that the Bears are trying too freaking hard. Like, just run your offense. And you're successful. You're strong. You're talented enough to get through and do what you got to do. You ain't getting 11-4 like this without this man playing the way he does. And it's a reason why their offense has elevated since he's been back. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. If you look at the offensive rankings since he's been back, they actually have looked so much better.
Yes.
So we're talking about regular season stats.
Jared, you live your whole existence is off regular season. Like, what did you?
We know Dallas in the playoffs. Maybe they win a game this year. They're not a threat.
Maybe you actually can get there if you actually want to be clear about stuff. Like I'm used to being there. Are you? No, you're not. So let's get there first before we talk about
I don't even want to get there just to lose in the first round.
I'd rather get there to get a chance to compete. I'd rather not be like sitting there wondering if I'm going to be playing for a first round draft pick at the first pick of the draft.
Like, that's cool. We got the Rams pick.
Let's be clear. No, to say that to say no. He's not a liability. This team just has to stay open to running what they have to do because they have the talent and they have the offense. What's going to be a killer for them?
He's not a liability.
What's more of a liability?
He's not an asset either.
No, he's an asset too. I just think you have an opinion of him that is
Not with that contract.
you have an opinion of him that's really ridiculous. He earned that contract at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, because trust and believe, there are far worse guys that have money that shouldn't have. Let's be very clear. If the more of a liability on this team is what's happened to their offensive line now with losing out Tyler Biotish, that's the liability right there.
Okay. And Jacob, your thoughts? What do you think? You think you think they're winning in spite of his mistakes?
Yeah. The true liability is Cooper Rush. I'm just going to be truthful on this. The true liability is Cooper Rush, and it's like, see, the thing is, Cooper Rush, if you're winning games, it is 16-13, 23-20, all that kind of stuff. Might make a shot at the end. But here's the reason I'm saying this, is because if you're going to the playoffs, which Dallas is going to the playoffs, you're gonna face a team like Philadelphia. Here's the thing: it took 40 points to beat Philly. Cooper Rush ain't getting that.
No, he's not.
He is not getting that.
They're gonna play Tampa.
What?
They're gonna play Tampa.
Well, no. I'm just giving an example of the teams you might get.
Right.
Yeah. But here's the thing: they're not even getting 27 with Cooper Rush. Well, yes, it was 27 was last night. No, like I said, it's 23-16, 23-16, 20-13, 20-17. That's the scores you're going to get with him because you have a great defense. But the reason I brought up Cooper Rush is because no matter how many turnovers you're getting with Dak Prescott, on that bench right now, you are hoping to dear life your defense is on its game. Yes. Because he is not going to go in a big shootout with any of the quarterbacks, any of that kind of stuff. You're going to need a Dak to face even a top.
But you're doing that with Dak too.
But no, Dak can score 40. That's my point.
Yes.
Dak can score 40. And it's like
easily.
These are the things though. If you have turnovers like that, and yes, there's a viability for turnovers. There is also the main thing that he can score points, which the backup cannot. So you just got to stick with what you've got right now.
True. Absolutely. Dak is the better option. You know what I mean? But let me just put this out there, and I'm not disagreeing with anything that anyone's saying, really. But here's the deal. If you turn the ball over 3 times in a quarter versus any other contending team, you're getting run off the field. That is something that he has to watch. There are elements where, now granted, yes, he can get you back in the game. But, I mean, come on. You have your opinions about Tannehill, but if he was quarterback last night, and if Henry was playing, the Titans probably win last night. 3 turnovers in 1 quarter, they capitalize off that. You know what I mean? That's just something that he has to clean up. Also, the play calling could get a little bit better. So looking at you too, Kellen Moore. Looking at you too, Mike McCarthy. So
I'm glad you brought up Tannehill, because Tannehill, even at his worst, is better than Dak at his worst. They're both overpaid. Dak is grossly overpaid, but Jerry Jones loves that big deal.
Wants to say something. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, JJ.
We both do.
Not giving $160 million to a man named Rain Dakota. What are you, hippie?
Take the emotional aspect.
I would have traded.
Good God!
I would have traded Matt Stafford for Rain Dakota and 45 first-round picks.
Could Jared Goff throw 3 interceptions and win a game? No. So let's says it right there.
Jared Goff doesn't throw 3 interceptions in a game.
Yes, he has before. He's had
not
3 turnovers in the game, and he's lost. But
he's a fumbler, not an intercept guy.
He's still, the point is a turnover. The guy has been able to still have a chance to win. And even if it was Tannehill, they still would have a chance to win, because that is Dakota Prescott, who actually is not a bad quarterback.
I never saw Dak duel Patrick Mahomes, but I saw Jared Goff do it.
Dom, you really do sound like somebody that just is spilling out emotional reasons why you don't like the guy.
He's never been a Dakota fan. He's never been a Dakota fan. He's never.
I know he
was when he was in college. Then Dallas drafted him, and I'm like, F this guy. I really was. Like,
Now,
I swear I'm on
that
my
shows
my
the
kid.
emotion aspect right there. Because if he was any other team, you're basically saying he's good. That makes perfect sense.
Hey,
The only reason why you
Bro-
can't stand him is because of the team he went on. That's all emotion. Take that.
real,
'Cause I
quick,
can't root
Jacob.
for I can't root for a cowboy.
Sorry, Jacob. My bad.
Hey.
Jacob,
You
real
know,
quick. So
he hates Dakota so much he won't go to South Dakota to see Mount Rushmore.
good one. But okay, Tannehill at his worst or Dak at his worst? Who you taking?
Dak.
Oh, Dak. He can just. Here's the thing. He can do more with the ball. He can do more. Tannehill needs a run game. Without Derrick Henry, Tannehill is smoked.
Yeah.
Because Dak doesn't need a run game.
Well, it's, I mean,
Not
not
necessarily. Not necessarily. They have thrown their way back into games, and they may have thrown like 50-some passes.
When
but they
the
have
other
given
team's
them-
playing prevent
Oh
defense.
yeah, dude. The year
They're
that
not
Dak
talking
got
about playing
injured in
prevent.
2020, he was putting up 300, 400, 100 yards a game.
You can't move. You can't move the goalpost because we have a tangible fact to prove the point that you were wrong. Yes, Dak can throw you back into a game.
Suffice it to say, listen, and I'll put it all in an even playing field. Dak's overpaid. Tannehill's overpaid. Goff's overpaid. But I never saw Dak or Tannehill outduel Patrick Mahomes in a primetime game. But I saw Goff do it. And you know why? Because he threw less picks. Threw one or none.
One thing, Goff also
He
had
didn't
7
out-
receivers that he could throw to.
Yeah. He
Well,
did out. That was Todd Gurley too. What is you saying? And Robert Woods. Yes. What is you saying?
You got to remember,
The
most of the
greatest
Rams.
man in
Because
You got to
it's
remember,
interesting.
The
It's
fact
interesting.
remains.
It's interesting. It's interesting when Todd Gurley's legs wore down. What happened to Jared Goff? He started kind of slowing it down.
Well, sure.
Well, you got to remember a lot of Jared Goff's offense and the Rams was 7 receivers, a lot of slants, curls, a lot of shorts, all that kind of stuff, and the receivers going about 30 yards.
It's still the same thing now.
That's not against Goff. I'm just saying that's what the offenses was in the first place. It's easy.
That's
It's kind of big in comparison.
It's still the same thing now. He's got a bunch of weapons and a lot of time to throw.
Yeah.
Like, I don't love Jared Goff, but I'm married to him for at least one more year after this.
Dude, you'll divorce him in a hurry and try to take the alimony.
Well, we do have one more topic real quick, and that is our non-sports topic. So in celebration of the final gauntlet of the year, New Year's traditions, best and worst. I'll go first. Worst one. So there was this tradition back when I was younger, and on New Year's Day, my mom would try to make me eat a spoonful of black-eyed peas and boiled cabbage for good luck. And every time I ran to the toilet and gagged, and she stopped making me do it. I know some people are black-eyed peas fans, and that's cool. Cabbage fans, and that's fine too.
Do you like the
It's
songs?
not my thing.
Do you like the music?
Hey, no, black-eyed peas music ain't bad. Now, you know,
That's what I thought of when he said that.
It's not bad at all, you know. But Dom, by the way, because your beard's deeper and you're wearing a D hat, you look like Eminem now. But
Or skinny Tom Selleck.
But with that being said, Dom, what are your New Year's traditions, best and worst?
I mean, to be 100% honest, I can't think of a worst one. Like, I don't really have any. I mean, as far as best goes, I don't have one of those either. I mean, I could say New Year's Eve tradition. My best New Year's Eve tradition is don't go anywhere, or if you're going somewhere, stay there for the night.
Play the safe route. I get it. You know,
I'm old.
The shrimp
I don't go anywhere. That's one of them big DUI nights, and I'm just like, no.
Mhm.
That's the drink. That's the thing.
JJ, what about you? New Year's traditions, best and worst.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And,
To be
and I'll
very
take a number
honest-
3.
To be very honest with you, you're welcome. To be very honest with you, I'm not big on this New Year stuff. I've been asleep the last 4 of them, so I don't really care about traditions and things like that. Because New Year's was never really a big deal for me. I hate parties. I hate the loud commotion that comes with New Year's and stuff. And I'm not pressed to get no kiss, but that's just me. I'm not really a big New Year's guy.
Okay, that's fair enough. And finally, Jacob, what about you?
The best one is me waking up every New Year's Day healthy because I'm not a drinker. So that's the best one for me. I'd say the worst one was I had a date for the Peach Drop, and I wouldn't say it's really the worst. We had a nice enough time, but we had a date at the Peach Drop, and she was claustrophobic, and all those people around her, she darn near collapsed. So we had to get her the hell out of there before it happened. So,
wow.
So it was crazy, but I'm like, that's an individual thing. I'm like JJ. I'm not a huge kind. I just kind of watch the Peach Drop or the New Year's Eve or whatever. So it is what it is.
I mean, I can say generally worst New Year's tradition is to kiss someone at midnight. Like if that's not like your wife or your long-term girlfriend, like don't kiss someone just to kiss someone. Looking at
Especially
you,
if
Joe.
they look like Denzel.
With the beard as well.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our show. Thank everybody for tuning in to the Gauntlet. Thanks to Jacob Christopher for coming in last minute. We had a hell of a program. Dom, where can everybody find you? Can we see you on Basket Bros on Sunday? You ain't been on in like 60 days.
More than that.
Maybe. Solid maybe. Yeah, I will be there. I'm telling two of my co-hosts right now, yes, I will be there. Where can you find me? Facebook, my name, Dom DeRubeis. This show on Fridays. Basket Bros, I'm coming back. Sip Off and NFL Carousel on Thursdays. NBA Carousel right after the new year on Mondays. Wednesdays and Fridays. Kneecap Butting with Smoking Jeremy B. And yeah.
Hey, JJ, what about you?
You can find me here on the Gauntlet on Fridays. We took a little break, but we're going to pick back up the NFL picks coming up on Sunday. And then all throughout, up and down the Sideline Sports Network. Haven't had a chance to get on a few shows, but I'd like to get over there. But you need me, I'm always there. The Sip Off on Thursdays. Here we are. You know me. Social media, JJ Jenkins.
Hey, don't forget about the picks, the Sunday picks with JT and JJ.
Exactly, JT and JJ Sunday at the picks.
Yep.
More
so
Jason Sesame Street.
Comes on about an hour before kickoff. Everybody should be up by that time period. So please tune in. It's about a 30-minute show. They just give their picks for that week of football. Jacob, on you, man.
Well, JJ, I have my new show. We have Basket Bros, of course. I have my new show called Pundit Views. I am going to have interviews with other people and sideline people, so you'll be around eventually. I'll be talking to you. We'll be doing an interview with you too, and Dom also. So we'll be getting that. Denzel's already been first, and probably Jen this week. But I've got another one coming pretty soon. And then Tuesday nights will be confidential. Yeah, whenever it's not going to be that anymore. And I hope you were entertained plenty tonight, JJ. Let's see. Wednesday nights, a doubleheader is Pundit and Sports Exchange with Scott. We get Scott back, by the way. Thursday nights, I'm away from Sideline Sports. We got Yin and Yang. We had a great interview with somebody, our first guest last night. All film, all the time. So we had that, and then I was on tonight, and then whenever they call me for a last-minute help and all that kind of stuff, and we get it from there. And I appreciate everybody on here. And I appreciate you guys. JJ, you're awesome, and I'll have you on whenever we get a chance.
Thank you again for the spot duty.
No problem, buddy.
Yeah, and JJ, be on the lookout, Cubfidential. We'd love to have you on. So when the Cubs play the Nationals, pay attention to that series. We're gonna have you come on and help us talk about that series. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Are you in DC, JJ?
Yes.
My nephew's going to the Nationals Braves game for going to the Nationals Braves series in Washington, and he's gonna see what Nationals Park for the first time.
Oh, that's a beautiful part. I used to work right across the street from it at my hotel, and got a chance. Juan Soto stayed at my hotel before he got traded. Crazy enough, but yeah, I definitely pay attention. Now he's gonna love the park. Nice place.
Well, we're happy to see. I'm happy to always be here whenever you need me.
Absolutely.
Well, thank everybody for tuning in to the Gauntlet. Have a happy and safe New Year, and be safe. Shout out to Fanatics for sponsoring us, also Yeti for sponsoring us. Let's see. JB Ellis, Yeah, JB Ellis, Eric Wilson,
Eric
John
Wilson.
Shear, and Jake Malik as well. Everybody have a happy and safe New Year's, and we will see you all at the first of the year, which is in 7 days. Later!